Are you ready for your presentation?
Yes, sir.
Are you sure you're ready?
Yes, sir.
So if you were made the sports administrator in Nigeria, what would you do to ensure that the Nigerian Premier Football League is of the same standard with the English Premier League, or even better than the English Premier League? Are you ready? Are you set?
Yes, sir.
All right. So we'll start this presentation with Josh Blazy.
My name is Joshua, aka Josh Blazy, and I'm here to talk about if I'm given a chance as an administrator to promote our sport into the Premier League standard. Well, first of all, if I'm the administrator of the sport, I will start by the adequate medical facilities, because as administrator, we will nurture our football players, nurture our new talent, found talent, because any players that we found, and as a footballer, any injury that's been sustained during training or a challenge competition, we are responsible for our players to take care of them by nurturing them, full treatment for them, because all of our footballers, without them, there won't be any Premier League, and we need them to pursue our own challenges and competition that we need to achieve in our own country, as for example, Nigeria here, because we need our footballers to have full potential by grooming them and training them, and we need them in full capacity to achieve all aims and goals, because we need them not by any deficiency of injuries, and with that injury, we will be at disadvantage in any competition that we find ourselves. And the second note here is our functional football academy will be at full upgrade, because when we are seeking for or searching for new talent, the football academy will stand there as a route by upbringing the new talent, because that's where they will find to understand the strategies, the patience, and the training of all football and the basics of football, because the new talent that we need to have and we already have, we'll use them in our own advantages to groom them to be the full football players that we need them to be. The third note here is to get all sponsors. We need sponsors to promote our football and organizations, be it in any branch of football in the states, around the country. We need them to promote these football organizations, because, for instance, now in Spain, like Real Madrid, they're the most famous team in the world, and they're having a lot of sponsors. And with these sponsors that they're having, it's a circulation of products, be it jerseys, football gears, and the drinks and all that. So a lot of sponsors are coming into the sport to promote this football to its full potential. So I will, as the administrator, I will be in a kind of a contract and a link by getting new sponsors in order to achieve this aim that I'm having, in order to promote our football to reach the Premier League stage. And for my fourth note here is employing well-oriented coaches, and the coaches that we might have on ground, we'll also send them to undergo trainings to the full capacity that we need them to achieve. Because without our coaches, our players won't have the basic training of football. So we need these coaches to undergo such full potential trainings for them to train our footballers. Because our footballers can't be just released on field pitch without someone to manage them. So we need a full potential capacitated manager to control such players and to nurture them. Because it also deals with patience, and it's not every coach that will have this kind of patience to deal with such players. And also, many players also have their own temperamental by releasing anger and all that. So we need coaches to control such of our players. for my fifth note here is not politicizing contracts. For instance, our country, Nigeria, sorry to say, all of our contract here in Nigeria is based on who you know. And based on who you know, we well know that it won't favor our aim and goals in these football areas. We'll just be kind of politicizing such contract, and for the love of money, we won't able to promote our own football aims. So we need to work with contracts based on what will favor our own football aims and goals. So not by politicizing such contracts, we need to work with rules and to abide with laws. When we bring in politics into football, we spoil everything about football. So in order to reach the standard of Premier League, we need to remove such scandal about politicizing and all that. So my sixth note again here is providing better playing gears. As I mentioned to my second note about sponsors, if our sponsors are not enough or not having enough efficient of funds to provide such football gears to our players, the wages will be too much to our own kind of capacity to handle such funds and a lot of wages. So we need more sponsors on the areas of gears to provide such gears to our footballers. So we need it in order to fully equip our footballers in order to achieve such goals of Premier League and all that. And providing special food treatment to our footballers' players. Our players do need with food dieting and something that they are able to eat and what they are not expected to eat. So when the footballers are kind of in the sort of task of training, what they might eat in the morning and what we'll eat in the afternoon might not be able to allow them to work out in the daytime or later in the day. So there's some restrictions on food, on what the player might need and what he will not be needing for that sort of training. For my last note here is seeking for government aid for the upgrade of a standard stadium. In other famous stadiums in the world at large, we need our stadiums to be fully equipped, the capacity to accommodate such fans around the globe, so that whenever we're having such matches, competitions in that stadium, there's some certain capacity that stadium can reach, and there's a limit also. So we need to upgrade our stadiums in order to accommodate such fans around the globe, because in Nigeria now, our stadium, we know that here there's some certain capacity that will not be able to accommodate a lot of fans inside the stadium. So when we're having matches around the globe, it will be really encouraging for our fans to come in, and there will be positive comments about our stadium. So we need the help of our government in order to upgrade our stadium to full upgrade, in order for our matches to be suitable to play. And also make emphasis on the adequate medical facility. This is the most important point of my own aim here as the administrator, because as the administrator, we will have to work with a lot of medical like surgeries, a lot of medical equipment that we need in order to groom our players and also protect them from any form of future injuries. Thank you.
My name is Vita Yankee. I'm here to discuss the topic, if I was the sports administrator, what will I do to better our Nigerian league like EPL? Let me start the discussion. How corruption has eaten deep into our Nigerian league. Selfishness, greedy, corruption has been the biggest factor that has affected our league and has made it hard for us to get to the standard of our other African league. Not to even start mentioning the European leagues. Our government has failed us. Even when it comes to publicizing our sport. They have neglected our grassroots and the talented potentials in the nation. If I was to be a sport administrator in Nigeria, and I want our league to be like European leagues, number one, our football academy will be to be upgraded to the world-class football academy without world-class sport of our facilities. and by encouraging our youth talent out there. By encouraging our youth out there for the world-class players so that they can attract our clubs here because of their technical abilities. Secondly, I will attract sponsors from big brands in and outside the country. My last point, I will instill discipline into the football league because we have a situation here in Nigeria where we see our fans beating the football officials when a decision did not go in their favor, like others to the players. Thank you.
My name is Cliff Ben. I'm here to talk about our football administration. If a chance should be given to me to be one of the administrators, I think the first thing to do is, as an administrator, you have to realize that football itself is a business. Because most of the European countries, like the Premiership, England, football is what generates their revenue the most. So if I don't realize the fact that football is a business, I think there's nothing I can do. Secondly, I, the minister and the president, we will come together and then work with some sponsors from abroad to be able to have a knowledge about how they go and then make the Premiership to that standard. And then also discipline, because Nigerian football, or let me say the teams, sometimes you will see a situation whereby a match is ongoing, but the fans, when they feel the referee is somehow against the team they are supporting, you see they start fighting, even jumping into the pitch and start beating the referee, which has never happened in Europe. So indiscipline should be put in order. Then, before we'll have a good football. Another thing again is we need to promote our league by paying some TV station where they can be showing our matches. Because in Nigeria now, you will see a situation whereby maybe Plateau United are playing Kano Pillars, or the fans will find it difficult. If you don't have a means of transportation to go to either Kano or just to watch the match, you will only stay at home and then wait for result. So we need to work to improve in such a way that the matches will be seen on the television, just like the South African League. You see they are showing their matches. By doing that, we will have a good standard of football. Thank you.
Hello viewers. I'm Peter Godin, aka GOTV. I'll be talking about if I'm opportune as to be one of the Nigerian administrators into the local matches, like the local thing. What's it called? Firstly, I'll be highlighting competition. I'll make it I'll make the league, the Nigeria local league, very competitive, like having the likes of extremely worthy sponsors, someone like Dangote to buy those things. I could remember sometimes ago when Dangote made mention of buying Arsenal. So I think he's one of the football lovers. So I think this is a fact. It's one of the factors that can help to upgrade the level and profile of the Nigeria League. So secondly, as a sports administrator, I will impose a law that is going to be mandatory for all the local teams to set up a football academy, which will create opportunities for the young ones to showcase their talent and what they are willing to give for the future, which will stand as an advantage to the club by enabling them not to spend so much on already made high-profile players, thus reducing the transfer spendings. So thirdly, involving foreigners and experienced coaches in the local league is a medium which will entice players from different countries' league to want to participate in the Nigeria League when money is being splashed on them during the opening transfer season. And fourthly, providing necessary and adequate medical facility is one of the most important factors to be considered because it's a way of reducing life-threatening injury. And next on my list, ensuring that all the local teams have a conducive environment such as a convenient stadium, good pitches for better smooth flow of balls for the players to enjoy with. And this conducive environment is what entices fans all over the world from different regions to be able to book tickets and watch their live matches too. And as an administrator, lastly, as an administrator of the Nigeria Football League, I will ensure there is constant weekly payment of salary to all league players and decrease in their taxes. Thank you.
Still your favorite boy, OMG. I'm here to talk about the topic. If I'm to be opportune to be the sports administrator here in Nigeria, how can I make the NPL, the Nigerian Premier League, standard up to the English Premier League or even better? Starting from my own side of view, I would like to say the Nigerians has to understand that football is a business in which has made so many countries rich and bring them to where they are today. And the likes of Brazil. Brazil as a country sees football as one of their greatest business, which has taken them to where they are today. First of all, being the administrator, I think I have more knowledge than it takes to know football to some extent. So, and I think in football business, you don't grow without the impact of the government in which owns the country at which the football runs. I think the first thing I would do is employing the government, the Nigerian government, and then having a word or probably a conversation with them, employing them to put more interest in the aspect of football. Because without fund, business, you don't run business, you don't progress in business sometimes. And football as a business is a business that needs much fund so as to progress to a greater height. So by employing the government and then putting more fund into football, I think so many things will be achieved so as to get to that standard. First of all, when you employ the government, I think one of the things that we'll be looking into is a standard stadium and amenities, and also the mechanisms that are being used in the field of play. Giving an example from the English Premier League, when you have a stadium, when you have space for a lot of fans out there, millions and so, then you talk about some amenities that are being put in place in the stadium, such as VAR, where you see after things have happened in the field of play, and the referee decides to get back to bring back what happened, you go to the VAR and check, which creates peace and unity in the field of play, even when fans are trying to complicate issues and the players are trying to complicate issues. You as a captain can as well walk to the referee and then ask the referee that he should confirm from the VAR, which the referee goes to the VAR and confirm, and then brings in the right thing to be done. When you have the goal line technology in the English Premier League, when you see players arguing on what was not goal and what was goal, a ball that was a goal, then you see the referee confirming from the goal line technology that it's truly a goal. I think it also creates peace in between players, and then understanding between the fans and then the management as well. I think those are things that are really bringing the Nigerian Premier League down. There's some certain rules that are supposed to be put in place, because you don't tell me that in the field of play there won't be an argument nor fight. There will always be, but what brings in peace and the right judgment is what matters, and those are things we should look at. Secondly, the government would also try their possible best to help the administrator to create some means of raising players, such as the average players out there. There are some poor masses out there that are good in playing football, but due to the way things are being run in the country, they were not opportune to get into the academy. Then building adequate academy for the players is a good one. When you build good academy for the raising of players, there you see potential, talented people that are opportune to come in, and then you make an easy access for them to get into the academy. The likes of Messi, those are players, one of the greatest players across the world, which he started from the academy where he was noticed and picked by Barcelona. I think this is one of the things we are supposed to look into. When you build adequate academy, you train up potential players who are already used to football from the beginning, not picking someone from the streets who has been playing from a normal ground, bringing the person into a stadium. I think it's a hard one if you've played a football, but starting from the grassroots, where in the academy you play on grass, and taking outside there, you also play on grass. It will be an easy task for you to carry on. And then providing in the academy so as to equip football to a greater height. I think giving them the access to be paid from the academy, even if it's a little finance for their upkeep, we also encourage them to carry on in the field of play. I think there should be some kind of payment from the academy to the Nigerian Premier League, where you can also, as the sport administrator, create a means of taking football to a greater height by showing it on different social medias, such as DSTV, GOTV, STARTIMES, and the rest of it, where the world can easily see the potential players, as well as loan your players to other foreign teams, such as the English Premier League, where they can go gain experience and then come back to their team and perform more better. I think finance and more facilities and equipment are the main reasons why we are still lacking behind. Thank you.
I'm simply Neka. If I'm given the chance to become the sport administrator of Nigeria, what I would do to make the Nigerian Premier Football League like the English Premier Football standard, or even better, is to first of all curb bribery and corruption. Nigeria as a whole has been eaten deep by bribery and corruption, and sports is not an exemption. Football especially has been affected by corruption and bribery. This is because the funds allocated to football sometimes are being copped towards personal use, or group of people, of individual will use it for their personal purpose. I will make sure to curb misappropriation of funds, to make sure that the funds that is allocated to football, it's being used properly. This also causes substandard equipment, substandard facilities, football facilities, because when the money is being shared amongst group of people, the remaining money is not enough to, produce quality facilities, quality jerseys, or what have you, to make the football league very standard. And it is said that football is a business. So if football is a business, what you're selling should be good enough to attract buyers. So therefore, I'll try to make sure that there is funding, aside from sponsors, good sponsors that will sponsor football league and the football academy. I'll make sure that the funds I get from the government is duly put in to make sure that I get the best. And also, Nigeria Football Academy, I'll make sure that they achieve why they are being created. We have lots of football academy in Nigeria, but they are not doing as expected of them. What do I mean? The football academy, I believe, is meant to bring out people, to train those who have the potentials of football and to bring out the best. Because it's from this football academy most times that this Nigerian Premier League pick their players. So if we train the best, definitely we will get the best people playing in the field. So I'll make sure that the rate of godfatherism, tribalism, and the likes of it do not come into play in the aspect of choosing people that will be trained in the football academy. Let it not be who know who. Let it be what you have, your skills, and what you can do. It is by those criteria that this football academy should pick their candidate, their students to train. And also they should be provided with enough tools to train these football learners or these people coming up. Another another thing that I'll do is that I'll make sure that there is modern technology, something like VAR, visual assistant referee, where when there is confusion or there is misunderstanding or thereby they can fall back to these modern technologies to clarify things, to avoid record or what have you. Also, another technology is that of age detector machine. For instance, you see some gigantic people that are like people's father, and the next thing you hear, I'm 21 years old. Like, how? Do you understand? So, but if we have this kind of technologies that dictate age, at least we'll be able to get vibrant young players to play for us. The reason why there is football age, there is a certain age why you should, when you should play football, is so that you'll be able to give in your best. Football requires strength, agility, and what have you. And if you get into a certain age, those qualities drop drastically. So why would somebody of 40 be in the field playing professionally? They will not give in their best. So we should have those modern technologies to be able to help us to do our best. Another thing that I'll do is to motivate these players. Some of these players are not well paid. The English Premier League, they earn a lot. They earn a lot to motivate them to want to play more. But here in Nigeria, they don't earn enough. In fact, their health insurance or health facility is very poor. So that's why you see them. They don't play to break leg. They just play safe. If you're coming towards them and they see you are going to hit them, they'll just dodge, because they know that if they die or if they break their leg, their family, number one, will not be taken care of. Nothing will be done for them. What do they even earn? So why would they come and kill themselves on the field? So there is no, and this brings lack of patriotism. So if you don't take care of your players, they will not play well, even if they have the potentials to do better and to, show their skills. But what for? They will not want to do anything because they know that you don't have what it takes to take care of them. So they play safe, and whatever goes, they take it like that. They don't care. So also we need coaches. We need professional coaches. I mean, how can a blind man lead people to war? You have to be good. You have to have all it takes to coach people. You have to be professional yourself. Those you are coaching should know more than you. So the coaches should also undergo some certain kind of training to make them good enough to coach, group of people. So these are the few points or the few things that I would do.
My name is Kokoroku Boss, and in my bid, if I'm given the opportunity as a sport administrator, what I will do to make the Nigerian Football League or the Nigerian Premier League far better or even more standard than other leagues around the country, around the continent or around the world as follows. First and foremost, we always tend to forget that policy making is one thing that we lack in this country. We make policies and we do not live by the policies we make. You can't tell a soldier to go to war and you don't give him the basics he needs to fight in that war, So for me, first and foremost, I'm going to have to look back to where we made the mistake, where the mistake started from. Because if I'm to judge, basically, we were far better when it comes to sports and generally in the country to a certain stage where we started to fall short. because of corruption, because of lack of basic amenities, because of lack of patriotism, because of the idea of now who person gets, then they make person for life, you know. So I think for me, what I would do first and foremost is to have policies that would build up the sporting sector from short-term policies to medium-term policies to long-term policies. And categorically, I'm going to state the three sets of policies. My short-term policies are going to be basically about the people who, or the players, their trainings, basically what they need, what they don't need, what should go for what, and what should not go for what. And my medium-term policies are basically going to be in relation to how the development of the sporting sector from the very leagues would go, from their games to the competitions, from the competitions to how they are being paid, from how they are being paid to how they are being managed, because if you don't manage your resources well, it goes bad. From how they are being managed to what comes in for them and what doesn't. Categorically, I'm going to state we had players who played for us in the past and they were not referred to, they were not recognized, and you know, all of these are part of the problems we face in this country, and that's why sometimes we have a set of players that would not want to give their all to games, even though they know it's their dream. Have you thought about why players would not want to play for their own country? Let me use Nigeria as a case study. And they want to go outside, you know, to other countries to play. That is because other countries value their business, that is the sports business, more than the way we value our sporting business. Also, I think what I would do is to make sure that when the country is budgeting, there is always an allocation for everything from health to basic amenities to long-term expenditures to short-term expenditures and what have you. I think sports generally football generally should be put in the long-term sustainable projects and the medium-term sustainable projects. And because this will go a long way to help the government cope the problem of the basic amenities in the football sector, also down to how the clubs are managed and what have you. Then another important thing I think we could do is, if the government feel they're not up to speed to manage these various clubs that make up this league, then they can as well have a partnership with private persons, you know, private companies or private sectors. So these private sectors, because they have the mentality of they want to make the money, so they will do anything. They will put everything to make sure that what they are putting out in the market has optimum standard in every way possible. And football as a game is something that you have to give it an optimum standard for people to have interest in. You don't expect me to bring a low-value product to the market and you expect everybody to want to buy it when they see a high-value product in that same market with a little difference of price. So for me, if the governments are not willing to invest that much because they have other projects like transportation, they have other projects like education and what have you, then I could as well just have partnership with private sectors who are willing to put their best, everything they've got. They are willing to take stakes. They are willing to use this as a golden opportunity to make a lot for themselves and to make these talents, these players, these clubs, a thing that would go around the world, a thing that would sell. Then it's a good option. I'll meet these people. I'll partner with them. I'll get the best, not just for the clubs or for the players or whatever, but also it's a good recognition for the country. People want to go abroad and watch matches. People spend a lot to travel, go to different clubs, different stadiums to watch live matches. There is nothing bad if people abroad also want to come to Nigeria, go to different stadiums to also watch our live matches. But we will not be able to achieve all of this if we don't do what is right by us as an administration and as a body. So also, the need for a technical committee which is going to manage every stage of every competition, of every league, is also necessary, ranging from the managerial section with the coaches, the club managers, the nutritionists for the players. All of these are going to be put in view. Most especially, every club, either owned by government bodies or private bodies, should have policies that will manage them. First and foremost, they should have their various academies so they can train players from way as low as 6 years old to as much as the age where they feel deemed fit. Also, they should have training sections as much as possible. They should have free, friendly, competitive matches to help their players know how fit they are going, where they are going wrong, and how to improve on all of this. So basically, for me, I think the Football League is not something we can just talk about in the whole day as an administrator. It's something that needs a gradual process to grow, just like any other business in the world. So the earlier we start to put more effort in making it grow, the better for all of us as a people. So basically for me, I'm just going to try to touch every part of what makes it a whole and leave the rest to God.
Alex. So our topic for discussion today is how to improve the Nigerian Football League or Association, how to make it better. Okay, personally, I think the first things to do is to get sponsors, rich sponsors. Like my fellow housemate said earlier, likes of Dangote, Otedola, and the rest, because we actually have billionaires in Nigeria that can actually sponsor our football clubs. We don't need to go outside the country to get money. And also, we should eradicate football politics, because everything in Nigeria is about politics, bribery and corruption. So I think that should be eradicated. And we should get good playing gears for our players, because most of them, even when you watch their football, their jerseys are like dirty, their sneakers are not up to standard. The stadium is not looking very nice, so people cannot actually go there to watch the matches. So I think good stadium and better playing gears will improve our league. And also, we should make more people aware of the NFA, because there are some themes that it was when I came to this house, I was hearing stuff like Eyimba, Plateau, whatever. But like everybody knows Chelsea, we know Arsenal, even if you're not a big football fan, you know clubs like that. So we should like make it more aware, more advertisements, so that people will know the names of our leagues. And then we should employ top-notch players and coaches. Very, very important. Most of our coaches, I don't know whether they are disciplined or not disciplined. The players are not disciplined. Most of them are not even physically fit. So we should employ top-notch coaches, top-notch players, and we should make sure that they are financially okay and they're financially stable, because everything in this country is about money. So we should make sure they are well fed, their legs are insured, their heads are insured. Thank you.
Is your favorite boy, OMINIALL. Today, before I move into the topic of discussion, first of all, I have to commend the previous administration in terms of sport, especially area of football. I'm going to frame this in kind of question that if I'm opportune to be the sport administrator and to better the Premier League, Football League in Nigeria, or even make it better, I'm going to state it in 3 lines. I'm going to look at the area of grassroots football and the area of welfare, and as well the area of sponsorship. And taking these 3 agenda, I don't want to bore you with several agenda because I need to be specific. Now, if you look at the grassroots football, there is nobody that does not have a beginning. I want to take you back in the early 90s, the golden days, where we have the likes of Kanu Wanko, the likes of Okocha, the likes of Tijani Babangida, the likes of Russo Oruma. All these guys were picked from the grassroots. Now, how did we get it wrong? We got it wrong by neglecting our principal corps, our inter-schools, primary school, secondary school. We have the metropolitan leagues where you have scouters like the Westerhoff, who also scout around Lagos, Anambra, and the likes. He was able to bring these great players, and that made us to have the golden days of 1996. It kept on running, not until where we got it wrong by putting politics first. So, as an administrator, first of all, I will have to visit the record of how we got it right at the early stage and where we got it wrong so that I can be able to make amends. But first things first, I have to go back to the grassroots. My second point, I'm going to look at the welfare. The welfare is not only tied down to monetary aspect. The welfare includes the sporting facilities, which starts with the stadium, the player jerseys, the player package, sign-off fee, and the likes. Now, in Nigeria, if you look at the orientation given to the footballer as a professional, the orientation is poor. It makes it look as if they are doing him a favor. Why? Because they feel he's unemployed, he's not having an insured background, so him coming here, we're like, okay, we need to help you. And that makes both the management and the player try to lobby their way by way of what we call bribery. But now, how do we solve that problem? I think I will employ the policy of accountability, proper evaluation on the player and the management. Okay? Then you look at the sporting facility in terms of the stadium. The stadium, I remember in the early 90s and late 20s, where you find out that we're also managing our resources where we use the natural grasses to run our football activities. But we now realize that maintenance culture has been a problem in our football and Nigeria Professional League. Now, the idea came that we should employ synthetic grass. It's a good one because you don't have the issue of getting water, applying water, getting a tractor, a mower to mow to level, getting a painter to be able to demarcate the lines. Yes, it has saved a lot. So now we are using synthetic. Now, in the area of using synthetic, virtually all the stadiums in Nigeria from the far north, they are using synthetic. It's a good one. Now, I'm looking at, again, an area of the management where their welfare should also be considered. Because the welfare package of the management, it boils down how they treat the players. This management includes the technical advisor, the medical personnel, and as well, the fans too. Now, if you look at the technical advisor, he should not be influenced by any other body to which team he's coaching. Then you look at the area of the fans too. They are also being influenced because each fan or each football club has its own fan base, and each of the fan base has its own leader. Now, the leader has the mandate to be able to bring out policies that will be able to manage and secure the fans as a whole and that of the players. So that is the area of welfare. And so many more things I need to touch, but time will not allow me to elaborate. You look at the area of the player equipment, starting from his jerseys, socks, and boots. Sometimes the player go on his own to get all those things for himself, just to meet up the standard, which is very poor. So the orientation we give to the players and the management entirely as a whole is very, very important. And I'm going to look at the area of sponsorship. These three things work in line. If you don't have a good route, definitely you are not going to have a good welfare, And I swear, nobody will want to put his money in something that is not worthwhile. Now, sponsorship. When you talk about sponsorship, it's like a kind of, okay, I have a proposal for you that, yes, if you put your money into this, this is what is going to yield. Now, but you that wants that person to invest in you, what have you done? That is the area where we are facing our challenges as sponsorship. We have the likes of Dangote, we have the likes of Tedola, and so many billionaires in Nigeria. I'm sure if they can channel these little millions into the Nigeria Professional League, at some level, we should be able to say, okay, yes, if you can't go to the stadium to watch the live match, you can get it as well via the viewing channels. Now, the solution I'm looking at here is that this sponsorship would only be privatized whereby you hand everything over to the private sector and not allowing the government to what? Put their whatever standard in it, because at the end of the day, once it's politicized, it will be abused. I hope with these few points of mine, I'm able to convince you that if this opportunity is given to me, Nigerian Professional League or Nigerian Premier League will be a great league to watch. Thank you.
It's your favorite personality, Prince Riggs. The topic that we'll be discussing is if I were to be a sport administrator, what will I do to better the Nigerian Premier League, like the English Premier League or the other European leagues? I'm going to be simplifying my points. And if I want to start, I'd like to let our viewers out there know that it's fantasy wanting to be like, or wanting our league to be like the Premier League. Because I've been a Premier League supporter or fan for almost 20 years. And trust me, if we were to backdate the Premier League like 10 years or 15 years back, the standard of our league is not and can never be compared to it. So that's why I say it's fantasy. Instead of comparing the Nigerian Premier League to the EPL or any other European league, why don't you compare the Nigerian Premier League to the South African League, the Egyptian League, the Tunisian League? I mean, those guys are way, way better than us. And why are we here? Corruption. We've all been discussing about corruption every day, even before we were conceived. Corruption, corruption, corruption. We talk about corruption in every sector of sports, not just football. But still, it exists. So, allow me to get you, or to allow you to enjoy the fantasy of what I would have loved to do if I were to be a sport administrator. First thing first, grassroots. Our football academy is nothing compared to the European Football Academy. In fact, how many football academies do we even have? How many are functioning? Then we'll talk about our leaders. These leaders don't even have passion for sports. Who are the biggest benefactors of sports? The youth. So these guys don't even care whether you love sports or not. What they care about is what comes into their pocket. So long as they don't have the same passion that the youth out there have, then trust me, sitting here talking about what we can do to change, our league to the European League is just baseless. And like I said, it's just fantasy. I don't want to say it can't happen, but trust me, I'm sorry to say, we can't. I'm done.
My name is Rauda. If I'm given the chance to become the Nigerian sports administrator, I will do my very best to make the Nigerian Premier Football League standard, like the English Premier League, or even better. What would I do? I'll create a stable foundation where we'll seek new talents, scout for new talents, not ancestors, not old people, new talents, young ones that possess or showcase high potentials, high talents, and skills in football. I'll tackle the youth from the grassroots. I'll organize inter-house sport competitions and encourage these young ones with scholarships or sponsorships. Now, sponsorship, this is one of the major factors that the English Premier League embraces in order for their team to be outstanding. But here in Nigeria, it's the exact opposite. We lack sponsorship here in Nigeria. And even if we are giving some sponsorship, even if we are giving some accessibility, some sponsorship, corruption steps in. There are levels of sponsorship, there are levels of assistance that the Nigeria Premier Football League has received, but has been embezzled tirelessly. And this has completely affected the players, this has affected the officials, and the whole management team. This is tragic. Me, myself, and I, Rauda, I will make sure that corruption would never creep into our finances. There will be financial adjustments. I will make sure that the players, the coaches, the officials, the medical staff, the marketing team, from the highest of football staff to the lowest of football staff, will be well taken care of on a special budget. I will make the playing pitch richer to increase quality of the game. I will supply adequate medical facilities. I will supply adequate coaching. Your coaches will be top-notch. And I will restructure the whole management team. See all these things, nepotism, football politics, like you will not see it. Even if your father was the king of football, if you cannot play ball, go and drink water in your house. If you guys notice, the airing channels for the English Premier League are of high quality standard. This is attracting daily influx of viewers. When you're watching, my apologies, when you're watching the English Premier League, aren't you mesmerized? You're enjoying what you are viewing. I will introduce this method to the Nigerian Premier Football League and put it to work so that we can also attract massive viewers. In these massive viewers, we can get our supporters, we can get our sponsors. And this time, when we have all this support, when we have all this sponsorship and finances, I will make sure that nobody, not one person, will come and touch, mismanage, or misuse, or embezzle the funds that are meant for the players, that are meant for the staff or the team. I will also make avenues for Nigerians and other visitors to come watch us. I will create bigger stadiums, better stadiums, clean stadiums that even after the match is finished, Nigerians or visitors will not even want to go home because the stadium, the avenue, where the platform where they are watching the football, where they are watching the match is enjoyable. By the time you sit down there, to you, Nigeria has won already. That's why football is a business. Using the stadiums as a financial revenue, we can get finances through stadiums, through good stadiums, through good stuff, and all of that. Lastly, I will make sure that everybody, from the highest of the football staff to the lowest of the football staff, will be taken care of. Everybody will eat well, so that we don't have lazy players, we don't have half-paid players. Everybody is fed well. No misuse of money, no embezzlement of money.